Weren't the Olympics supposed to be the ones with those types of issues?
Yes, yeah.
Smooth sailing so far in Rio, and also for Team USA in men's basketball. Another easy victory tonight, this one over Venezuela. And it was also a milestone night for Carmelo Anthony. Passed Michael Jordan for third on Team USA's all-time scoring list. Also passed David Robinson and LeBron James for the most all-time games in Team USA Olympic history, 25th. So here are the standings. No surprise, U.S. sits atop Group A. Australia also undefeated. Those two teams meet on Wednesday. As for the rest of the group, France and China meet tonight in a key game as the top 4 teams in each group advance to the knockout round. U.S. 18-0 in Olympic play under Coach K. Also news for one of the current Olympians, Kevin Durant, may not feel that much love ahead of Valentine's Day. Mark Stein reporting KD's first game back in OKC will be February 11th. The full NBA schedule is expected to be released within the week.
Well, coming up on Sports Center, Doug already told you what Carmelo did on the court. We're waiting till you hear what he does off the court. He goes face-to-face with Hannah Storm.
You know, another really good basketball team that wears stars and stripes, the U.S. women. The rest of the world must be catching up to them. They only won by 40 today. A mere 103-63 win. That's coming off a 65-point margin of victory against Senegal. Spain kept it a little bit closer. Their head coach, Gino Auriemma, earlier tonight on SportsCenter with our Lindsay Zarniak. When Lindsay asked him, what's the biggest obstacle you faced so far? He probably had to think a while before answering this one.
Biggest challenge is how do I get all these players into the game. Trying to work in 12 players in a 40-minute game is not easy, believe me. Every time I look down the bench, I got a couple of them looking at me like, hey, what's up? How about me? So trying to manage that, it's been difficult.
If that is your biggest problem, you have no problems. The women have won their first 2 games by a combined 105 points. They've cracked the 100-point threshold in back-to-back games for the first time since Athens in 2004. Meanwhile, the men pulled out a 44-point win after entering, as I said, the second quarter tied at 18 with Venezuela.
You're the first basketball player to represent the USA in 4 Olympic Games.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Does that make you feel old?
When you think about it.
None of your contemporaries are doing it. You know, no. LeBron's not here, and Kobe and Dwayne Wade. They didn't, and you did. Why?
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like it. I enjoy learning about different players, personalities, not just the basketball players, but as people. And I feel like I'm kind of that bridge, that gap, you know, between the veterans and the young guys that's a part of the team.
You are, in many respects, the face right now of social activism this summer, in the wake of everything that has happened.
I didn't plan it to be like that. It wasn't a plan. It's just something that happened. Like it was very authentic. It was very genuine. Because I could have spoke out plenty of times of other things that's been going on, but a lot of times you just want to wait. And just see what comes natural.
I know that you spent some of your childhood in Baltimore. You marched in the Freddie Gray protests. You had been involved in ads for gun control, but you had never gone to the extent that you did with your Instagram post.
Yeah.
What is it that sparked that particular moment where you sat there privately and said, you know what, I just can't help it, I have to say something?
I really don't know. I was watching the news and I just got tired of seeing it. And I'm just like, started typing and before you know it, that Instagram post went up.
Why do you think that it resonated with so many people?
I think people were surprised at the fact that an athlete of my stature stepped up to the plate and said something. A lot of times with athletes, we're kind of afraid sometimes of speaking out on different issues, and I think it's the platform for us to say something. We needed our voice to be out there. The urgency to create change is at an all-time high.
You were the impetus, the opening of the ESPYs. What were those conversations like as you brought LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Chris Paul to the stage?
Well, it was, I mean, we have a group chat, and, you know, they actually was like, we need to do something. Like, Melo, you called us out. You know, we have your back. We support you. We need to figure this out.
You also, with some of your Olympic teammates, to continue the conversation, or maybe start the conversation, right, in L.A., you had a forum. Who was there, and what do you think was accomplished?
Well, both men and women USA basketball teams was there. We had police chiefs, you know, from that area in L.A. We had kids, you know, from the Boys and Girls Club that's down there. We had, you know,
South Central LA.
South Central LA. We had community leaders. We had activists. We had just all type of people there. And for me, it was more not. It wasn't about a quote unquote town hall. It was more about a conversation with the youth and putting those to the youth and, you know, the police officers and letting them hear each other out. You know, and a lot of times that's where the disconnect comes in at, because the police don't hear what the youth is talking about. The youth don't want to hear what the police is talking about because it's a distrust and it's a disconnect.
What were both sides saying? What did you take away from it and say, wow, this group learned this?
I was more like educated at the fact that some of the officers that was there was like, we've never heard this before. We embrace kind of these conversations. We want more of these conversations. We need more of these conversations. So I was more kind of shocked that they didn't know, and the stories that was being told to the police, you know, about some personal stories, police brutality thing. I had a couple guys, a kid in my group who just was shot by police a couple weeks before that. And for him to step up and actually look in the face of a police officer and say, I don't trust you. Like that right there was like, oh.
Powerful.
Yeah, it was like, wow. You know, but we got past that, and it was a great conversation between those two people. And for me, that was like, okay, I did my job. You know, I did my job. But I needed that. I wanted that. I wanted the kid to look the police in the eyes and say, we don't trust you. I don't trust you. And why I don't trust you.
What did you share from your personal experience with those kids?
Well, I mean, I grew up in that. I've seen police brutality before, and I've experienced police brutality, not at that high level, but I've experienced it before. And for me, it was just easy for me to tell that story because that's what's going on right now.
What do you think needs to happen going forward to really affect true change? Because your point is the system's broken, and that's what we've got to fix.
Yeah, my opinion is we have to put more emphasis on the school systems, you know, education, in-home education, different programs, educational programs, whether it's more rec centers, whether it's more Boys and Girls Clubs, whether it's, we need more initiatives, you know, for kids to take advantage of. And we need to be educated. We need to educate our youth, because right now it's a major, major disconnect. And another point that I was making in that conversation was the police. I mean, it's you have to abide by the law. You're not the law. I mean, at the end of the day, and they was very receptive, you know, to knowing that.
How committed are you to continuing this?
I'm committed. I'm committed. And we got to get our youth back, you know, out the streets. We got to get the community feeling back. And we need police to do that. I mean, we need them to protect and serve, but we also need them to kind of build these bonds back into the community, because this is lost right now.
How familiar are you as you go into the Olympics with the Black Power salute, with what Tommy Smith and John Carlos did?
I'm very, very aware of that. That's a very powerful image. I actually have that picture. As soon as you walk in my house, I have that picture there.
Really?
Yeah, and this was way before any of this was going on. But I just look at that moment and the way that they seized that moment. It's a backstory to the guy from Australia that's in that picture too, that was going through something in Australia.
He supported them.
He supported them, and a lot of people don't know that story.
And he suffered consequences.
And he suffered consequences back in Australia. So that's another story that I think needs to be told, because while we were going through something in our own country, he was going through something in his country. So it wasn't just about us, it was about the whole world.
That was in 1968. Think about that.
Yeah. And here we are, 2016, and still going through the same thing.
As you go to the Olympics and the platform becomes bigger and bigger, have you thought about using the Olympic platform?
Honestly, I've thought about it. I just don't have the answers to what should be done. And then I'll sit back and I also say, okay, this is the biggest platform. The whole world is watching. What better way than to make a statement than it is to go out there and win a gold medal and become united? That's bigger than any other protest that we could possibly do on that stage.